My mama told me I was gonna go far. Said I'd leave my name in bright light, baby, have a nice time.
Okay, hello, I'm David Boomah. I'm over here in LA. Just did a show in Guatemala. I'm on tour promoting my brand new album, One World, Many Cultures. And yeah, I'm really having a good time. So I just thought I'd tell you guys a little bit about what's going on. David Boomah, I suppose I'm a singer-songwriter. Best way to describe me is I'm a singer-songwriter that kind of started off in dancehall and found drum and bass, or should I say drum and bass found me, I'd say in about 1994, when jungle was just really coming to the forefront and was a really strong force. And I was introduced to it by a guy called UK Apache, who everyone knows, Original Nutter, and because he had that tune with Shy, he introduced me to Shy, and we did a track called Who Run Things back in 1995, and that was really successful. And we went on to do 2 more songs, which also went to #1. I kind of just got sucked in. Initially, I was like, drum and bass, it's a bit weird, it's very noisy, lots of drums, it's really fast, it's quite erratic. I wasn't really involved because dancehall is very laid back and chilled, and you can more ride it, and drum and bass is very different. But as time went on, I kind of understood what drum and bass was. There were two songs that really made me understand drum and bass. One of them was I'm a Junglist, Congo Nutty. I was like, wow, when I heard that song, I was like, ooh, yeah, now I know why this thing is special. And another song was by Remark, and it was Sound Murderer. Those 2 tunes, but for me, turned my head and made me realize there was something special about jungle, and that's when I started getting more involved in it and started recording more vocals. So yeah. From there on, I kind of was floating around. I wasn't really in music. I was just on the edge of music, and I was kind of focusing on youth work and focusing more on working with young people. But about 3.5 years ago, I decided I really wanted to throw my energy into music, because music is my first love, it's my passion. And so I decided to make an album, and I connected with a number of labels to do the album, but I wasn't really getting the kind of energy and the vibe that I wanted from those labels. And then I spoke to Brian G from V, and there was a connection. It was like what Brian was saying and I was saying, I could relate to Brian G. So we sat down, I played him the album, he liked it, he helped me to develop it, and 3 years later, we have the album, One World, Many Cultures. It's a multi-genre album, which means it covers a lot of genres, reggae, dancehall, drum and bass, jungle, hip-hop, all a mixture of things, many artists, and it came out on V Recordings, and it seems to be doing all right. People seem to be feeling the vibes, and so I'm trying to go around the world and just spread the vibes even more. Reggae music has got a big influence on music across the world. Reggae music, we talk about hip-hop, where people started talking over beats, and that started quite some time ago. That was, I don't know, maybe late 70s, early 80s that started. But before that started, we had people talking over beats in Jamaica, dance, reggae, and we called it toasting. That's what we used to call it. This is even, I was like a toddler when they were toasting, and I'm not a toddler now, so this is a long time ago. And that has influenced drum and bass, it's influenced dancehall, it's influenced soca, it's influenced hip hop, it's influenced so many different genres of music. So the reggae element for me is really I can't separate myself from the reggae element, because I lived in Jamaica for 10 years and I'm Jamaican. So that's just natural for me. It's like breathing. So you will hear, and even most of the songs that I've done, even though it might be a soulful track or it might be a hip hop track, you can still have a hint of reggae running through it. My drum and bass stuff, you'll definitely hear a hint of reggae stuff running through it, because it's me, it's a part of me. As much as my album is multi-genre and there's lots of different styles on there, the music that people know me for is jungle. There's no doubt about it. And I will always be eternally grateful to junglists, because although I do all these different styles and dancehall is where I started out, jungle has given me 8 #1s, and hip hop has given me 1, and that's even through a drum and bass label that I got that hip hop #1. So I, people said the jungle would die, you know, a long time ago. When it kicked off in 1993, people was like, it won't last, it's a fad, it's gonna die, and blah blah blah. And here we are, you know, like some nearly 20 years later, and it's thriving all over the place. You go, you know, internationally. So the scene is important, and I've spoken to a lot of young people as well, and they it's something that's really important to them, that jungle scene, you know. It creates bonds, it keeps people together, people form families through it, and it's a beautiful thing, you know, when it's done right. And there's some really nice people in the scene as well. Okay, youth work. Okay, that's another thing. That's like my second passion. So, you know, music is like the first love, and youth work is my second passion. I've been involved in youth work for 22 years now, and worked in most of the boroughs of London, and even outside of London. You know, London's got quite a lot of boroughs. I know some 40-odd boroughs or so. I've worked in most of those boroughs, working with disaffected young people, working with young people involved in crime, and trying to get them to evaluate themselves and their actions and where they're going with their life, and trying to support them in just making the right decisions. And that's what youth work is about. Youth work is about developing you personally, socially, educationally, and spiritually. And that is something that is missing. Like, people say, oh, I'm a youth worker, and people are, what's a youth worker? What do they do? And they think it's some little job where you just go to a youth club and play pool and table tennis and have a drink of tea, and they don't recognize the importance of youth work. Without having that person, for a young person to talk to when they're confused or when they need support, young people get lost and never get found. Youth work is one of those things. It's like a safety net. Yeah, that's something that I'm still doing it right now. I've got a company that I co-direct with Kerry O'Brien, aka Lady MC. It's called London Urban Arts Academy, and we go around across the whole of London, and we deliver projects to young people that can't afford it. So, you know, we'll roll up with turntables and with music production suites and with t-shirts making stuff, and we'll do projects with these young people, and engage them, you know, and develop them as individuals. And that's what youth work is about, making someone grow, helping them to grow. All right. So this is David Boomah, hanging out here in LA with Cesar NoFace and AKAIDA, and we tell them this: what you gonna do when the big sound come? Where you a go hide? Where you a go run? Look how you a melt like when butter in the sun. Take away yourself, boy, start run. What you gonna do when the big sound come? Where you a go hide? Where you a go run? Look how you a melt like when butter in the sun. Take away yourself, boy, start run. I never said I was a big top shatter. I never said I was the girls them sugar. I never said that was a real dan dada. I told you straight that I'm a murderer.